So it's been about 2 weeks since I last made a video here for my channel, and let me tell you, I really miss being behind the camera. It's just unfortunately I haven't had a lot of time recently. I don't know if you noticed, well, you definitely noticed, but I got this huge tan line right here on the side of my face, and that is from my sunglasses. Now, that doesn't mean I became a douchebag and I'm just wearing sunglasses everywhere I go. I actually got a new job, and I've been putting in a lot of hours, 60 to 70 hours a week. Um, so yeah, it doesn't really leave me much time to get in front of the camera and record and edit and research and yeah, especially being a full-time father also. And yeah. Point is, a few days ago it was a very special day in our nation, and as most of you may know, we got a new president in the country. Now, to about 50% of the country, this is either going to be amazing news or it's going to be horrible news. Now, as far as I go and what my political affiliation goes, I don't really know. I think I call myself kind of politically homeless. Socially, I like to think I'm a little bit more conservative. But economically, I think I'm a little bit more on the left. I still don't really know. I don't get myself involved in politics anymore because of what I'm going to talk about today. The reason I'm bringing up politics today is not just because the election is over and we got a new president. I'm not here to talk about policy. I mostly want to talk about how politics and people who are obsessed with politics are affected in their relationships, whether it's with their parents, with their children, with their spouses, with their neighbors, or anybody who they have a pretty decent relationship or pretty close relationship to. I've noticed a lot of these people are willing to just give that up and they prioritize politics over their relationships. And that seems very unhealthy to me because I've heard of many cases. I've actually fallen out with a few friends of mine, not by my choice, not because it was my decision to do so. I don't give a shit what political side you're on, as long as you're somebody that respects me and I respect you, and we can have good conversations. And you're somebody I vibe with. That to me is more than enough to have a decent relationship with you. I don't know why I kind of had this idea to look up topics of people making posts about how their relationships were affected through politics, and I came across some pretty crazy shit, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because I think a lot of us can relate to that, and especially during this time of the year, I know a lot of you are going to be falling out with your parents. You're going to be having problems with your friends. You're going to lose lifelong friendships or relationships that you thought you've always had. But really, some of the worst ones, some of the most appalling shit to me is people losing 50-year, 30-year, 40-year marriages over having political differences. I mean, first of all, you'd imagine that if you've been together that long, you kind of know which side of the political aisle you're in, right? Now, maybe I guess what fucking happened was after Trump came into office back in 2016, that's when so many people kind of diverged and went to the extremes of each party, and that happened in marriages, and that tore the marriage apart. But Jesus fucking Christ, if your marriage is crumbling over a political disagreement, I mean, I get it. There's some political issues that maybe it's kind of deal breakers, but to me, I mean, I don't give a shit as long as we're good and we can raise a family together and we can coexist, make each other happy. Fuck the political beliefs, honestly. But a lot of people do lose their relationships, and a lot of people do lose their long time, lifelong marriages over this. Now, if politics is something that for you is a huge deal breaker, that is something you got to make known from the very beginning. You don't want to get attached to, you don't want to get into a relationship with somebody who you're not politically aligned with if politics is something that is a big deal for you. Same thing with religion, same thing with financial circumstances. It doesn't matter. You got to make all of your intentions known and what is a deal breaker for you from the get go. Or else things, you're just setting yourself up for failure in the future. All right, so I'm throwing this fish in here because I want to have something in the background while I record this voiceover. And the reason I'm recording this is to let you know that although this clip may seem a little bit random, because I am reading off of something, the original idea for this video was to record over Reddit clips, and this is one of the ones that I found. So yeah, enjoy the trout, and here's the Reddit thread. This next one reads, my mom died 2 years ago, and her best friend of 60 plus years, who I have known my whole life, has been so kind to me and really become a second mom to me after losing my own mom. She never ever mentions politics to me, and she's a fun, nice person. But she is a hardcore Trumper. The last election, she went around knocking on doors, telling people to vote for him. She campaigns for him in her city. She adores him. I have a really hard time reconciling this, but also knowing everything she's done for me and how she supported me during some of my darkest times. I think the only reason I can be around her at all is because she has literally never brought up politics around me, never ever, but it's still a big source of confusion for me. Hey, dumbass, why the fuck would that be a big source of confusion for you? Now, maybe if you weren't so fucking politically brain rotten, you would be able to realize that this is somebody who has, in your own words, been for you in some of your darkest times and helped you in some of your lowest moments. I don't see why you have a hard time reconciling that somebody has a different opinion than you. Now, maybe you come to that conclusion because you believe that anybody who votes for Trump believes in something so abhorrent and so disgusting that it is difficult for you to be in the mere presence of anybody that dares support somebody like Trump. Now, if you were able for just a second to put away your political obsession and realize that what actually matters in your personal life, your day to day life, and your actual lived experience in this fucking world, not politics, you have somebody that has obviously, in your own words, just supported you when you needed it the most. Now, I don't understand why you have a hard time reconciling with the fact that somebody who's very invested in actually being there for you believes in something that you don't. I don't understand that. That's what I have a hard time reconciling. That's the what I have a hard time wrapping my head around is if I have somebody that has helped me out so much and has been very beneficial to my life, and I would probably in a much and I would probably be in a much darker place without that person. Why the fuck would I want that person? Why would I have a hard time reconciling the fact that that person believes in something that I don't? But let me ask you this: is she somebody that knows about your political affiliation? And if she does, why is it that she doesn't seem to have a hard time reconciling that with having a relationship with you still? Why does she not have a hard time helping you regardless of your political affiliation? I'm sure she disagrees vehemently with your point of view. So why is it that somebody who advocates very strongly for Trump, even going so far as to campaign in her own city, going door to door knocking, so willing and ready to help you when she completely disagrees with you, but you have a hard time reconciling your political beliefs and having a relationship with her? This is what bothers me so much about political affiliation and why I stepped away from the political game so long ago, so many years ago. I've been out of it for 4 or 5 years, so I don't have a fucking clue what's going on anymore. I don't know what party is fighting for what. I just know kind of the bare bones of what each political party stands for, and that's about it. But I stayed away from it because I was literally getting into these kind of discussions every day, and I was so politically obsessed and such an ideologue that I could not see from anybody. I was unwilling to see life from anybody else's point of view, and I think after a while I realized that it bothered me because deep down I knew I didn't give a fuck really. Like I didn't even go up to vote. You know what I mean? So I was over here losing relationships and arguing with people who were very dear to me. Yet I was so uninvested, truthfully, deep down, I wasn't even going down to vote. And I think most people who make politics a big part of their identity are really lacking in other parts of life. I think most normal human beings in this world can have perfectly functioning lives and relationships without having to make politics their sole identity. I think that's one of the things that makes life the most beautiful and the most engaging and interesting is the fact that you have all kinds of people around you, especially in the United States, the country that we live in. It is such a bastion of diversity and differences of opinions and views because people come from all over the world. Everybody has a unique perspective that they could add onto the mix. Now, once you start becoming a parrot for your own political party, I think that's when you lose your uniqueness. I think that's when you become just another sheep in the flock and there's nothing unique about you anymore. You lose anything that's interesting whenever you sound like a political podcaster and I just hear you parroting everything that they say. That to me is just disappointing because now you just don't seem like an individual anymore. My point is ever since I decided to walk my own path when it comes to the political conversation, um, I felt a lot more genuine. I felt a lot more true to who I am, and I found that I was able to cultivate my relationships and just feel a lot more free. Vote for who you want to vote for. Align yourself with whatever side of the political aisle you want to be on. I would just say be very careful losing friendships, relationships, marriages over this because at the end of the day, it's not really worth it. You're over here arguing for fucking Kamala or for Biden or for Trump all day. Meanwhile, these people don't even know you exist, but you live life and you share life with your parents, with your friends, with your family every single day. So, so that's the people you want to fall out because of a politician. I mean, It just seems fucking crazy to me. But at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you want to do. But anyways, that's it for me in this video. Have a good one.